Before I explained what I noticed for anyone else and why, I'll try to tell you what happened in the past. At the beginning of the attack back in 2003, some of the harassers and attackers told me that children would be used in the attack against me. I said this attack was so sadistic, using children in an attack like this would be considered child abuse. Now, in this first pic I'm showing you, these are pictures of emails I have sent. Now, I sent these to myself after I sent them to someone else from the sent page. Because I wanted, and I sent them from this email back. So it'd be in their inbox also. Because I wanted everything that I sent them from this email back to my inbox. So they couldn't just delete it from my sent pages. So I'd have triplicates of them. One in the sent page of the first email, one in the inbox of the first email, and one of the sent pages of this email that I took this from. I did this because I was sort of afraid of them, sort of afraid of losing them, because multiple times I've trusted people, and they actually got into my email and deleted many of my sent emails and many of the proof that I used to have of what I did and what I saw. So I ended up sending them to both emails just to have something to remember. When too many people ended up double-crossing me. I didn't do this to all of them because I assumed eventually someone's humanity would kick in during this harassment attack, and the truth would prevail. So I assumed wrong. I assumed someone would go, wait a minute, this has gone too far, we're going to stop this, we're just going to talk about this. But nobody's humanity prevailed. Okay, now let's talk about this first pic. In this pic, this is part of my email, my sent page, shows how I was trying to get a hold of people about the attack used against me. I wrote and talked about gang stalking, mobbing multiple times. I emailed those to myself only because I wanted proof. I was feeling paranoid, of course, because of the double crossing of people. You can see me write about mind manipulation, gang stalking, and mobbing. And here's what's in some of these emails, or at least parts of them. Here's an email to my family to make them understand the status of gang stalking and mobbing. Trying to get them to understand the possible leftist attacks held within, and that it's evil to have those leftist attacks within because they can be duplicated. I stopped trying to prove that gang stalking attacks would produce child abuse because they always ignored what I told them. But then a lot of people ignored what I told them. A lot of people said there's no way child abuse would be part of the left. No one saw this coming, except of course me because of what I've been through. So I stopped talking about child abuse and started talking about other things to try to prove that it's dangerous and that this attack should be fought against and people should help me. Now, I kept on going in and out of talking about child abuse and the left and its connection to gang stalking and mobbing and how those psychological connections were made. But that'd go in and out. And at this time, I hadn't got to the psychological connections yet because I hadn't studied the psychological connections to that level. I just started to get some psychological understanding of what I had been through in 2007, about when these emails came out. But I knew there was child abuse in there just because I was told and because I experienced and saw the child abuse. So I'm like, this is bad. This has to stop. To family, this is the email, the second email here. To family and friends, trying to get them to help me or stop the attack again. I sent them multiple emails to multiple people like these, hoping for something to change in them, and for them to be willing to help me or willing to understand how bad what I'm going through really was. Email 3 was an email to a friend, much of the same as the first two, trying to get help for what I felt was a helpless situation. The underlying two questions were because of a pastor, was more about being kind and praying, And I was trying to get a hold of churches in some of these. You'll see me, you'll see in the first area, I said these are from churches, or 2 churches, I mean. I was hoping to get help from Moody because of its size. Since that did not help, I tried to get so many churches, different types of churches. I was also fighting with the idea that the child abuse was going to be allowed and possibly honored, like it was in the attack used against me. And I kept on fighting with the idea of putting it in my emails, talking to them about that, and then trying to kind of leave it out of the emails, but face to face, maybe they'd trust me more. I don't know. I didn't know what was going to work. So maybe he told me that it would be impossible. And I started to doubt what I was told and my logical clarity on that it would be possible. That what was done against me could be duplicated. And that child abuse could be allowed in front of people in open forums or open ideas. I started to doubt myself. Even though what I was told and what was actually happening around me started to mirror each other, I started to see the same psychology being used against conservatives in 2009 with Obama getting in office. That I saw that was used against me in the beginning of my attacks. I started to realize, wow, they are. This is real. That's when I started to really double down on fighting this when Obama got in office. I'll use real-world examples from my attacks. I will use a real example from my attack. One time I was alone and was told that children would be abused during my attack. Later I was told that children would be involved, but it would all be over 13, so the abuse would be okay because the children, being involved in my attack wouldn't be that psychologically harmed because they would be older. There were also about 5 or 6 people in that group. Less than a week after that, I was threatened like this again, with a smaller group, about just 2 people. They said that children will be under 13, and whatever happens, I will deserve it. It would just be the mess of my head, and the mess with reality. And I didn't realize, a lot of the time, it was actually their own fathers and mothers who were actually pushing them to do these things. And that really disturbed me, and it surprised me. But after reading about human trafficking, now 40% of that is done by family members, it makes a lot more sense now. The third time this is spoken of, I told all my fellow workers, The third time this is spoken of, I was told in front of all of my fellow workers, there's about 50 of them, not all of them, that all this was just talk. Using child abuse within the attack was just a mess with me, and no children would ever be used to harass me or to be abused, or there's no child abuse at all during these attacks. This was to create an alibi of sorts, I found out later. And so when I would say there was child abuse in these attacks, or children were being used in these attacks, or was used to use children in the attacks was child abuse, all this looked like a lie. It looked like I was crying wolf when they had admitted it wouldn't happen. And they had so many witnesses to talking about it. This also created the idea of being right no matter what happened. If the attack didn't have to be that sadistic, let's say, if something odd happened, that there was no child abuse used in the attack, it was a less severe attack, let's say, then they'd be right. If only children above 13 were used, then they'd be right. If children below 13 were used, then they'd be right. See, in this situation, a person only remembers what he's told that was right, doesn't remember he was told 3 different things. So this is used against a person who didn't have the memory I had. They would assume that the people attacking them were like gods who knew what was going to happen. When in reality, if you say something, all three possibilities, then they're going to be right. But two of the possibilities are wrong. I was lied to twice, but told honesty once. And that's why I didn't think these people were as godlike as most people think. Or at least with this type of same kind of power that most people see in these people. Most gang stalkers don't understand what the game is all about. Or, gang stalking victims don't understand what the game is all about. I try to give help in so many places. The place I thought created the most promise was in Lake Forest because it was a very rich area, and I thought people would be more easier to see that it would be, they could very easily put money towards stopping child abuse and do it in like very kind of cheap way, exactly, but it would cost them that much. They could put $10,000 down, and that would be like a house payment. It wouldn't be like a year's or have a 30 years worth of salary. It would be like 2 weeks or a week worth of salary for these people. Or not even that. Some of these houses are worth millions. I mean, like I said, some of the payments, just monthly payments on a house are try 10, 20 grand. But I was told no a lot of times there. I was also told the left is too compassionate and would never allow child abuse around it. At the time, I assumed the rich were mostly conservative, and this was the best area for me to get help from a conservative ideologues. Later on, I realized what the conservative and rich connection aren't as true as I thought it was. I even was stopped by a few police officers saying, "Stop harassing people and asking people for help." I started to change my approach multiple times. I changed what I emphasized to draw different people to help the way I needed to be helped. Because unique in my circumstances, I needed to be helped in a unique way, but this never happened. I never drew the right person who understood exactly how to help me. I first tried to call the FBI to see if they would go after the child abusers, even though I thought maybe they could possibly be involved in what I was attacked by. If you want to know why, you need to look at my terrorist video. My workplace terrorist video, I don't know what I called it. It was done within the last month or two, by November. Has a picture of a building on it. Whatever that video is.